I am again. Today I've got an unboxing of the ASRock Z170 Pro 4. As you can see, the box here. I decided to build a new machine in order to do my new videos, and I needed something a little bit more powerful than what I had before. I've got an old AMD machine that just isn't quite hacking it when it comes to the processing power of the CPU itself. I've got the video cards for it, but it just doesn't quite do it. So bought a bunch of different bits and pieces and figured I'd do an unboxing video of at least the motherboard, maybe a couple of other parts and pieces, and I'll also do a build video after this at some point. Matter of fact, this video will probably have been done and finished on that machine once it's up and running. So let's get started with the actual unboxing. So let's open up this box here. And what have we got? Well, your typical back plate here. Let's see, there we go. Very nice. Set that off to the side. Quick installation guide. 18 different languages. They all say pretty much the same thing, so not that big a deal. Software CD here. It's got a bunch of drivers and stuff. The software setup guide for those things. This is an overclocking motherboard, so that'll be an interesting thing for me. I haven't really dealt with motherboards that are specifically for overclocking. I tend to live in the realms of server class motherboards and server class equipment, and in that world you don't overclock, period. We don't even turn on hyper-threading. Hyper-threading is bad, it's evil, it's wrong. Looks like a SATA 3 connector, 60 gigabit per second. And then the motherboard itself. Get this box out of the way. Ooh. And here we go. So, there it is. It's very pretty. Very pretty. Again, software, my server class stuff, it's never this pretty. It's larger, it's heavier, but it's never pretty. There's some little plastic coverings for keeping things shiny until you open it up. Another one there. A couple of heat sinks, but there's no heat pipes between these two heat sinks. Another heat sink here, but no piping as well. Other stuff. And we'll get a bit closer on this motherboard in a moment.
The Z170 Pro 4 supports 6th generation Intel Core processors, which are socket 1151. It also has a 10 power phase design, supports DDR4 3866 memory, has 2 PCI X16 slots and 3 PCI X1 slots, supports AMD Quad Crossfire X, has graphics outputs for DVI-D and HDMI, has 7.1 channel HD audio surround sound, and it supports full spike protection.
Okay, so on the back panel here, we've got a shared PS2 port. It looks like it'll do mouse and keyboard. A couple of USB ports. These are all USB 3.0. HDMI port, DVI port, Ethernet LAN. It's up to gigabit Ethernet. And your standard sound ports. PCI slots. Here's what we've got. We've got a X4 slot, or possibly an X1 slot, 3 of those, and 2 X16 slots, both of them PCI 3.0. For SATA connectors, we've got 6 SATA connectors. They're standard SATA 3.0, 6 gigabit connectors, and we've got a pair of SATA Express slots right here. That's a new form. Not a lot of people use it, but it should be interesting. And finally, for drives, we've got this Ultra M.2 slot. That's for plugging in a drive directly. It's for solid state drives. Very, very nice. Along here, we've got HD audio. We've got a serial port, TPMS slot. We've got USB headers. We've got a couple fans, chassis fans connectors here. I was actually looking at this earlier and I couldn't find these, and now I see them. That's kind of handy. More speaker headers and stuff like that. And there was also a reset switch somewhere. There it is, the BIOS reset switch. Over here we've got a chassis connector, the express chassis connector. The case that I'm going to be putting this into actually has this connector, so I'm happy to use that. Another chassis fan right here. We got a CPU fan header right here. 4 memory slots here. It is dual channel, so that's decent enough. I don't need quad channel for this kind of stuff. This is an overclocker. It's always going to be dual channel. Let's see what else. CPU slot, obviously. Power header, power header, power header. That's about it. It's actually a relatively simple motherboard. I've seen much more complicated. I've also seen simpler. So this isn't too bad.